Ladies, Coach Jerry here. Welcome to this phase, and this is really the hidden phase. I like to call it this way because it's phase 0, right? It doesn't apply to the 4 phases, but it's applied to all of them, right? It's mental models, mind map, and identity breakthrough. We know that at times the most difficult thing for us is not about knowing what to do, but it's about doing the repetitive thing that we know how to do it and do it well and master those, because usually those make the difference between you establishing habits and finally get to a results and you quitting, right? Or not committing, right? Or not having accountability. You know, when you don't have accountability, it's like you know that you're supposed to do something, but you always look for somebody to drag you out of the bed and actually make you do it, right? When you lack of commitment is bad because you usually find an obstacle and you don't understand why is it important for you to actually get through the obstacle, and then you quit. You try always to find an easier way out. What I did in this particular module, and again, it's super easy, and it's kind of like, I thought to myself after years of teaching people this thing, I thought to myself, how can I oversimplify a complex problem, right? How can we oversimplify a complex issue, right? Because if I'm able to do that, then you're able to get results. And it's usually only 3 things you really need to happen, right? Why you don't do the things that you are not, when you don't do the things that you know you're supposed to be doing, most of the time is because you don't understand that there is some sort of personality, character, and attitude, right? That based on that, allows you to either stress about something or overhype about something, or usually make something according to your own and it's super easy because there is really only a few mind maps and a mental model that really gonna lead success. Most of the time, we don't do the things that we're supposed to do or we know we're supposed to do because of attitude and personality, but not because we are like brats that we say, not because we're brats that we say, no, we don't wanna do it, that's it, like kids. Because whatever we're supposed to do usually doesn't fit into what we believe being the fit, right? So we come up with this identity that kind of say to ourselves, oh, I'm kind of like the perfectionist, I'm the procrastinator, I'm gonna do it later, or that. So what I came up with, and this is consequential, by the way, I don't want you to just go on the module of habits and motivation. I want you to understand why we do certain things. There is a personality stage that is gonna dictate how you plan, right? And when you plan, you're planning over perception, meaning like you're actually planning and you actually having facts over feelings, right? And when you have facts over feelings, usually it allows you to do a couple of things. Number 1, plan effectively and execute the plan, right? When you execute the plan, when you see results, you develop habits, and we know that habits over how to do motivation every single time. If you run on motivation every single time you stop seeing any results, you will quit, right? You will get discouraged, you will get frustrated. But when you see results all the time, it's easier to build the habits because you don't perceive that to be a habit. So what I want you to do on the next module down below, and again, this is exclusive into the program, this video will be seen I'm gonna make this video available for everybody because I really need to shade awareness of why this thing is important. But the next couple of points here, these particular tests are only available inside the program, okay? If you take this test, which is gonna be a 17 questionnaire question about telling you what type of perceived personality type you are, and again, there is no scientific, like I don't want you to think about the science of that. I want you to figure out an hypothesis here, right? And based on the hypothesis, we're going to plan according to who you are. In other words, if you're a person that is under stress, and let's be fair, most of people are type A, right? Under stress, constantly goal-oriented, risk-taker, or whatever the case is, right? Is going to plan her calendar very different than somebody that is very chill, right? Because when it comes to you understanding your personality and you plan your own calendar, you are likely to come up with a plan, and obviously a plan that you are likely or not likely to execute, right? Now, when it comes to this, for most people, Google Calendar is going to be more messy. At least mine is most messy than this example I found on Google. But what happens here is that much like you do in everything else in life, as you see here, you should plan when you have yoga, you should plan when you have a workout, you should plan when you go to walk, you should even plan if you have a date with your husband or relevant other, or if you are planning to go in on a date. And you should plan when you cook, you should plan when you eat. And there is always a few things, and obviously we relate this. You can have your own plan when it comes to your job, business, career, whatever you do, your kids, right? But there is always should be, you should have clarity on what it takes. And usually this, when you're doing this in the program, we do that together. You're gonna have a planner here, and you're gonna have some things to do on stage number 2 here. But you always, and when we do that in my coaching, like we talk on the phone, or we talk on Messenger, or we talk like whatever communication we establish, I always said to you, I always give to you 2 or 3 goals on that week or on that month that really moves the needle. Meaning, like, we know that when we're talking about type A, for example, we need to lose 5 kilos. We know that we need to establish a 3,500 calorie deficit for you to lose half a kilo, right? And we do that, half a kilo or 1 pound, 3,500 calorie, more or something like that, more or less. And we know that if we do that, you're gonna lose half a pound a week, for example, right? Then we say to establish that you need to move 7,000 steps, and you need to work out 3 times a week, times 30 minutes, right? And you need to be able to, when it comes to plan over perception, you need to be able to tell me, is this thing are happening? Yes, are happening, no, are not happening. Why is difficult? Which one of these 3 things are you struggling with? Which one is this thing not happening? Which one is this thing not inside my calendar? Why am I not able to fit it inside a calendar? And you need to come at me with some sort of either of an excuse or an explanation why these things are not happening. Why is that? Because if we're able to plan effectively, we know that to get you to the next level, it's really only a matter of finding a solution for point number 2 or point number 3, for example, or point number 1, right? Because what happens when you probably done this in the past and you don't find out what's going on, you always have this perception, this feeling that is like, oh, this thing isn't working for me. And I say, okay, why you're not working? I'm not losing weight. I'm not getting any closer to the results. But I am losing weight. Okay? And I always say, okay, are you losing weight or are you losing fat? Because if you're losing weight, chances are you might be losing water and you're not improving, right? Likewise, when you're losing fat, you might really literally weigh the same thing, but you actually improving, right? So it's a matter of planning and of facts over perception. When you find the facts and perception and you can plan effectively towards the goal, you moving forward, then it's about establishing habits, right? You're gonna see a link to a PDF that is my opinion, is gonna be the habits of the Better Over 40 habits and code of conduct. There's going to be a habits PDF. There is going to be a code PDF, which I want you to live by. This code is like, for example, one thing about the code is be resourceful, right? You know that if you are resourceful, you're not randomly asking question when you haven't really tried to be resourceful. Or if you ask a question and the coach doesn't get back at you in 20 minutes, you're not going to wait 20 minutes or an hour or a day for you to take action. You're gonna think something about, okay, based on my calendar, what can I do to improve that, right? Because when you establish habits, and if you constantly see results, you establish habits, then you don't necessarily lead into motivation. We know that motivation is what drives you until you get a results. When you stop seeing a result, and you are gonna stop seeing a results until you go through the obstacle and you get better results, you run in motivation. If you run on motivation, it's only temporary. When you run on habits, when you see results and you build habits without you realizing, in 6 months from now, in a year from now, you are completely transformed. You didn't even know how you did it, because you have built habits, because you have intrinsically built habits inside your fitness, right? I always see this happen all the time. People want, for example, to lose weight, and they say, oh, I should, for example, let's say I should walk or I should do bicycle inside the gym, right? And I stop all the time because I quit because it sucks, I don't like it, right? And then when it comes to other people, like, they show up 6 months after, completely change. And in the beginning, I was kind of getting to me too. I was like, okay, how this person is doing it? And one time I asked, and she told me, this one woman inside the gym, and she was saying, And that was an excellent, this is the proof that also the coach usually, sometimes coach learn too, right? Everybody learn. You have to establish something, like you have to choose. Let's say you're choosing some type of a cardio for you to burn calorie, that we know that we're supposed to do something to move more, right? And you can choose, like you as long as you establish this movement, this extra calorie burning, right? You can do so with doing different things. You can do a boxing course, you can do you can do a bicycle, you can do something, right? And you need to establish something that doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like something you have to do, but something that you do despite you, quote unquote, taking time on doing it, right? And usually that when you really know that you built a habit, when you choose something that you enjoy. If you enjoy going and taking kicks on, for example, a bag, or a boxing on a bag, and you know that that's gonna exceed, like he's gonna do a calorie for you, it's great. I like to walk, for example. I do enjoy walking, right? So if you walk, like you know that you're walking, like make an habit of walking all the time, right? When you establish something that is not a chore, you know that you actually got to the result. So what I want you to do right now, if you are in the program, go down below and consume all the module and then do the work. If you're not in a program, this is an eye opener for you. If you want to know more about this is one of 30 module on total inside the program. So it's not about, by all means, it's not the only thing you need, but it's definitely something that opens your mind on the system that we have and why it's working so well. And if that's the case, what I want you to do, I want you to go back, and chances are, watch these whole phases and see if this really reflects what you need on the 20 weeks roadmap body makeover roadmap. And I want you to shoot me a DM or let me know that we might jump on a chat and figure out if our program is for you. Jerry here. I'm gonna talk to you soon, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.